Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 17 of the Final Circle podcast. Excuse my morning voice, I'm recording this intro before this podcast goes live on the interwebs. If you're new to listening, I'm BLiTz5. My name in real life is Ray, and this podcast is co-hosted with one of my best friends in real life. His name is Andrew, and his gamer tag is Sypher5. We've been doing this podcast since the end of 2018. Talking about video games, the Battle Royale genre, and we're having a lot of fun doing this. So if you're coming back from our previous episode, we thank you for your continued support and for listening. And this episode in particular is going to be talking all about Battlefield 5's Firestorm, their newest entry into, or their first entry, I should say, into the Battle Royale genre. Hope you guys enjoyed. There's a little bit of PUBG sprinkled in at the end, but again, this is mostly Firestorm talk. So without continuing this intro, let's just get right into it. To see, man, have you tried Firestorm yet?
So I did try it. I tried it last night for a little while, get the feel for it. So I played for just about an hour, so not that long. It was tough playing solo. I liked it. I think it was different. I guess I don't want to go into what issues I had first. I feel like I should just say what I liked about it.
Okay.
And then we'll go over the issues after.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I liked was, obviously Battlefield has really great graphics.
Yeah, it does. Definitely the best looking multiplayer game I've ever seen on console before is definitely this game, right? Would you say?
Yeah. Yes, 100%. And I think I said that when we talked about Battlefield 5 when it first came out too. It's hands down just a gorgeous game, and I think they did a good job bringing it over to the Battle Royale realm.
Mm-hmm.
The map was really cool. I think the map was great. There's plenty of buildings. It was large enough, but not overly large. You move kind of quick. In Battlefield, you have good movement. You move pretty fast.
Yeah.
I felt that it was just ran smooth for the most part. I didn't have any other real issues. I didn't notice any issues, at least. I mean, maybe someone that played a little bit more than an hour would notice that. But I definitely liked it. I think it was a nice change of pace from everything. It was not quite a Call of Duty Blackout. In terms of speed and all that, but it also wasn't PUBG pace where it's slow and more calculated. You kind of can play a little bit aggressively. So I definitely like that. It's definitely far different than what I expected. I didn't get to drive any vehicles, but I liked it. I think it was different. I am impressed that they did it and they completed it. So I think the expectation for me was pretty low, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I'm on the side of that. I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
So how do you like it?
Yeah, it's funny you said that. I'm going to say I pretty much 100% agree with everything you just said right there. I think it's in terms of the way it plays, it's in between Call of Duty Blackout and PUBG, which I think is a perfect place for this to be. It's definitely more on the realistic side. The Battlefield gameplay, for how realistic Battlefield is, and in this game I noticed the gun recoil is actually pretty serious. It's only a step down from PUBG. Some of the guns were easy to shoot, but then some of them, the recoil is pretty strong. But other than that, a lot of times Battlefield, the gunplay is actually pretty arcadey, but this game feels, in terms of realism, closest to PUBG in terms of that. And definitely, but still kind of has that Call of Duty Battlefield vibe to it, of course. I was thinking, I made a review video that I'm actually posting onto my channel now, so I guess we're kind of going to be a little redundant here. I know not everyone, listens to both, but if you guys do, it will be a little redundant. But I thought it was interesting. I don't know if you noticed, but part of the map is shut off, and when you're launching, they show you the circle, right? And actually the first circle is already there, and you can't land outside the circle. So for example, a fourth of the map could be cut off right from the start, and there's only 64 players. So it's interesting because it's more Apex Legends has 64, 68 total players in a match. I forget the total amount now because I haven't played in a couple of weeks. So I thought that was interesting that they couldn't get it up to 100, or they chose not to do 100. And I know it probably helps them make the game run a little bit better. And the game ran really nice. I mean, we're both playing on Xbox One X, and the graphics are insane. The best graphics I've ever seen on console is Forza when I played that game on Game Pass for like 2 weeks. I had a free trial, and that was the best graphics I've ever seen on console ever in my life. They were just ridiculous. And this is probably like right there for multiplayer. It's probably the highest I've seen in multiplayer terms. And even in Battle Royale, Firestorm, like you're running around, there wasn't really any FPS drops when I was fighting. I didn't really notice any FPS drops, and I was hot dropping and all that kind of stuff, and I didn't notice any issues that way.
Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of the pros and cons of having a match or a Battle Royale game with only 64 players. But there's so much to talk about, man. It's kind of hard to like put your thoughts together when you're thinking about playing the whole game. But I think I had a pretty similar experience to you. I think what helped a lot was that I streamed a lot on Monday, and then I came back on Tuesday, and just putting the game down for a little bit and going back into it, like I kind of figured out things. I feel like when you're first playing, it's obvious that like, okay, the control is pretty easy to pick up. You obviously understand you're playing Battle Royale. You want to land, loot, survive. You get that. But then when you play for like the second time, it's like things started to click. Like I wasn't thinking about all the buttons anymore and like what to do. I kind of was like landing and just looting and like attacking people. So I felt like once you get to that spot in a game, it helps you kind of understand like what's going on a little bit more, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And maybe I didn't get to that aspect. I just played, for an hour, and I was like, all right, I got the gist of this.
I'm
tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm happy you at least played before the podcast so we could like talk about it today.
Yeah.
And
no one wanted to play with me.
Yeah, sorry, dude. I was burnt out last night. I just been on Monday. I did a marathon stream. I streamed for almost 10 hours, and then that was just a lot. And I did 3 separate streams, and then the day after, I streamed a lot too. I streamed in the morning, then afternoon, and then I've been like trying to get some YouTube videos out, and I just like couldn't play anymore, man. My eyes were just so dry. I was like, dude, I gotta get away from the computer monitor, so I need to take a break for a little bit.
Jeez.
Yeah,
sounds like a nice problem to have.
True,
like,
but
sometimes.
No, that's true. But it's like sitting in an office, though. Sometimes same thing. You're looking at a computer all day.
Yeah, dude, I did it all day today, from 7:30 to 6 o'clock today. So
yeah, man, I've been there. I'm
gonna play games.
Yeah, I guess what makes it interesting in my situation is that it's like the same screen because I wake up and I'm editing videos and doing stuff like that, and then I'm gaming on the same monitor, so I'm kind of in like the same area, same screen for like literally all day. Even right now, recording the podcast, I'm not complaining. Yeah. I'm just saying it's I think it's something that everybody deals with in 2019. Most jobs, probably involve you. Not all jobs, but like all corporate and desk jobs involve you looking at a monitor, and then you're looking on your phone, and then if you don't play video games, you probably watch TV at night. So everyone in America has a screen problem. It's not just us gamers out there and corporate workers.
I mean, it's just your eyes are tired. I think your eyes are moving around a lot more for like the game and adjusting constantly than you are when you're at work on a computer.
Yeah, it's kind of true too.
Similar but different.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely.
No, I know. I was just joking with you.
No, I know. Of course. But yeah, there's so much to talk about with Firestorm. So I guess because I played a little bit more, I guess I'll just keep going if you don't mind.
Yeah, we should definitely go through the whole thing.
Yeah, so I guess I'll just say, like, I woke up and I didn't own Battlefield. For anybody listening to the podcast, I skipped Battlefield 5 this year. Probably talked about it on the podcast at some point. I just made the decision. Me and Andrew are huge fans of the Battlefield series. We've been playing them together for a long time, as long as I can remember. And but I feel like with PUBG and Call of Duty and Red Dead Redemption, all that stuff, I just decided like I'm gonna skip this game. Plus, me and you played the hell out of Battlefield 1. We played that game like crazy, and I really liked that game a lot. But I felt like
I miss it.
Yeah, that was honestly, some people said they didn't really like it, but to me, that was such a fun game, man. It was so well done. It was so great. I loved that game. It's definitely one of the best games I played in a long time. And I just felt like this game didn't have that much more to offer, because it seemed just kind of similar. But I guess you can say that about any Battlefield or Call of Duty game on a year-to-year basis. Like, they're not that different. So I just decided to skip it, and then I woke up and I saw people playing Firestorm. I'm like, dude, this game looks good. Seems like maybe a game I should stream, and then we could talk about it on the podcast. So it just seemed like for 50% off. Right now, you can get it anywhere for 50% off on Origin, Xbox, PlayStation Store, Amazon.
Yeah.
So for $30, I mean, if you want to get your feet wet or if your friends are playing and you want to try a new game, it's kind of worth getting in. But honestly, if I had to just tell you guys right now, like if you have $30 and you're deciding on whether you want to play Apex, which is free, Fortnite, which is free, or PUBG, I'm saying like pick any other game but this game. I know it's kind of messed up to say, and we'll get into all that stuff, but just the TLDR, like if you only are picking one Battle Royale to play, I would not be picking this at the moment. I think it's really, really fun, but just if you don't make it past this part of the podcast, that's my advice for right now, I guess.
Yeah, I'd be in agreement with that. I think that unless you really want to play like the other aspects of Battlefield, then there's no reason.
Yeah, for $30 for the whole game, plus it has some campaign in it, right, and multiplayer. It's definitely the best deal for a full game. But yeah, it's just
if you're not gonna play those though, it's not worth it. Like there's better battle royales, I think.
Yeah, and before we even get into like the nitty gritty like details about the game, like just as soon as you launch in, like it's basically the last big battle royale that's coming out, right? I don't know of any other big battle royale that's coming. There might be like a surprise one, but think about it. Like you got Call of Duty, Fortnite, PUBG, and now Battlefield's coming out with one, and we have Apex Legends, so 2 from EA Games. And really those are the big like AAA titles, unless like Overwatch comes out with a battle royale or some other really big game, World of Warcraft battle royale. Like I'm kidding, but unless some other giant title comes through, these are all the heavy hitters have already put out their battle royales. And this game, for being the last one really in the series and being so late, I mean, PUBG just hit its 2-year anniversary, so they had 2 years to think about this game. Like it really has nothing new. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm like, man, there's not that much going on. Like it's got one map. Like to me, and no information about like, is there going to be a battle pass? The only information they launched with was that there might be duos next month and that it's going to be limited time only. So you're like, I'm like, dude, I want information like battle pass. Is there going to be like new game modes? Is there like what like when's the next think? Like Apex Legends dropped with not a lot of content, but at least they said like they're like 2 weeks from now, new gun, 3 weeks from now, new gun, like battle pass is coming. They dropped like so hot. They're like, this is happening. We're doing this. We're creating this. We're creating esports. Like they just went right behind it so fast that I feel like everybody was like, oh, this game is weird, but like it was being taken seriously and it caught on really fast.
Yeah, I agree. I think that really EA just did this. What is the guy who makes Blizzard? Is it not Blizzard? Who makes the
Battlefield or
Dice?
Yeah, Dice, and then they got help from Criterion Games to make this one.
Yeah, so I think it's just I think that they just made this to be like kind of follow the fad a little bit, which is like okay, but at the same time, it's just they didn't really do much. Like Apex went out there and made something completely similar but far different, and they didn't really do that. And they had even more time, and they probably have way more resources than Respawn did at the time. So it's you
would imagine. Yeah, I mean it's awesome, but it's not like exactly. I don't know if that's the right word, impressive, because you don't want to like crap shit on like Firestorm, but I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. It's not like
my thing is that like it's almost that the fact that what happens is it's hard to put on. Like I think that Battlefield is known for having the big team battles, you know what I mean, the 32 versus 32, and then breaking it down to teams of 4 battle royale is just a weird thing. So I feel like they needed to do something a little bit different, you know what I mean?
Yeah
it would have been cool if they did teams of 10 and made it like, you know what I mean, a little bit like a lot more loot and just made it kind of crazy and hectic like that, kind of like how the normal game
like Conquest is.
Exactly.
That's true. And getting into that, I feel like it's probably good transitions. We can get kind of into like the nitty gritty like details. So what I thought was interesting is that when you go into the main menu screen, it says that a match is going to last around 25 minutes long. And when I got in second, the match, I got first one time and I've had a couple seconds. The match that I got second in, and I was, the guy first place killed me, was like 20 minutes long. So that's really quick. Like that was pretty awesome. I enjoyed that, but I was surprised to see that from Battlefield. Normally Battlefield games, like the regular Conquest match is like 20 minutes, Oh,
they're long as hell.
Yeah. So I was like, man, this makes sense. Like it would be cool if Apex Legends or Call of Duty was 20 minutes long, but I feel like I was expecting like, what was those game modes in Battlefield 1, the operations where you went from like map to map? Like I was almost expecting some like really expansive, like ridiculously big map with like huge roads or like a highway and big cities. Like this map is like, I hot dropped everywhere. I know you said you only played for a little bit. Like there is no major city that I'm aware of. I dropped like everywhere, and most of the areas are like small military like outposts, and even the areas that have like a ton of buildings, they're like pretty small and they're by the water. And even the dam, like it looks like this big dam on the map when you land there. There's like not that much going on. There's really
Yeah.
only like a couple areas to loot, and then that's like it. And then there's some houses on the side. So I feel like the map looks so big, but then when you land, it's pretty fast to travel around from A to B. To me,
Yeah,
like,
you move quick.
yeah, to me, it wasn't like I don't want to like shit on it, but it's just like the map looks beautiful. It's fun, and I think it was like creative and stuff. And the snow looks good. There's rivers, and the water looks great. The snow looks way better than PUBG snow. There's no footprints though. I noticed that. But
Sons of
everything,
bitches.
yeah, everything looks better. But like I feel like they didn't do a great job creating like really good like cities or like fun areas that like you're gonna love to drop to. Like, you know how we have like Pachinki and all these areas, like, dude, I love dropping in this spot. Like I was just
Yeah.
like, dude, I don't know, like this area
That's true.
seems whatever.
Yeah, I
But
didn't really
again,
drop enough to do that, figure that out.
yeah, because at first when you start, you obviously want to drop like to random locations, like learn the
Yeah,
controls. But
learn to
then
pick shit up.
yeah, but then on Tuesday when I streamed, I started hot dropping like every major spot just so I could say I was like at every location. But
Yeah.
again, like I've only played for 2 days. I mean, granted, I played a lot because I was streaming, so it's not like the average person's 2 days. I put in like a decent amount of hours, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I could be wrong, but to me, that's just the impression that I took up. But even like Apex doesn't have that many places to go, but at least some of the areas there's like big structures and like it's like elaborate. There's like a lot of doors and hallways, and this was like not a lot of buildings from what I noticed, at least.
Yeah, I thought there was a decent amount. I mean, for
Did you?
solos, it was okay. Not a
Yep.
lot. I mean, I landed a lot in the snow area.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, I didn't. I guess like the thing is like I didn't really know what I was picking up at the same time. I was like, all right,
Yeah,
this is
I'm gonna
good.
pick up the map here. I mean, they said it was like huge, but I want to see like where all the loot and stuff is. It just
It is a big map. I think that they limit it with the circle immediately.
I,
And
I
I
think
think it.
yeah, I think by
I
them
think it is pretty big.
I think by them limiting it, it like throws me off a little bit. But yeah, like I'm looking at the map right now, dude, and
I mean,
like
how can you tell though? It's not like there's a exact like it's not like a ratio. I mean, you'd have to like get an overlay of like Erangel too.
yeah, no, true, you're right. Like how do you know compared to other games? They said it's like
And you
bigger
move
than
so much different in that game compared to PUBG
yeah,
too.
yeah, for sure. But I'm looking at the map right now, and like, for example, there was this like Pluto dig site, and I'm like, oh man, this looks like a huge hot drop. I'm gonna go there. So I landed there, and it was literally just like two really small warehouses like on the bottom, and then a couple buildings like going
in
up
the
top.
snow area?
Yeah, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay. And then I went to another area. I'm like, oh, this looks like probably the biggest hot drop. And it was just like two giant warehouses, but they were only like 3 or 4 stories and that was it. And then I'm like, okay. Then I went to Dam again, like it was pretty small, so I was like, okay. And I
Yeah.
kept just like going to every big location, and I was like, there's not that much going on here. I don't know.
Yeah, I rather just I rather play Conquest.
Really? Yeah. I mean, I definitely, you know what I have to say, man, is that I haven't played a lot of squads. So I feel like maybe
Yeah.
that is a
It
probably more
could
fun
change.
experience. I
Yeah,
played more
that-
solo than I did. So
Yeah, that definitely could change it for sure.
yeah. And while we're on negative stuff, I want to talk about some positive stuff too. But while we're on the negative, we might as well just flush it all out.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I also, what did you think about the looting system? So before you got on, I was texting you. I was like, dude, the looting system is just
Okay,
trash.
yeah, I mean,
What did you think?
I
did
think it's all right. Yeah, like we talked about it, and I was like, I don't think it's that bad. But then like there's no, if you hit start, there's no way to look at everything on the ground, which
Yeah.
is kind of crappy.
And
Or,
if you guys haven't played, what happens is when you kill somebody, normally like in PUBG or any other game, you kill them and like they drop a box or a backpack and you go to it and then all their loot is in there. So this game took a creative spin that when you shoot them, like their loot just falls everywhere and they can like fall
Yeah.
kind of down the hill a little bit, which is like kind of cool. It's a different take on it. And it's not
Yeah.
that bad. But if say, for example, if you kill 3 people in a house, all of their loot is going to be on top of one another. So like you literally can't even see the loot, and then if you go to scroll over, like you
Yeah.
can't pick up you can't even physically try to pick up one of the guns because there's like 5 things on top of it and you can't even reach it. So it's like a weird
Yeah.
design flaw.
I agree. I think it is a weird design flaw. I just don't know if they thought about it or they just were like, man, people will figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if that obviously doesn't happen that often where you're killing like multiple people in a building, but then again, like when you hot drop or late game, like people are hiding in buildings, so then that does happen. But I don't know, even if a squad, if you kill like a couple teammates next to each other, it happens. So I'm not sure. I definitely can imagine that they're going to be fixing it because it seems a little problematic. And then the inventory system is kind of weird too. Like it's always on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, and then you can hit down on the D-pad and it enlarges it a little bit. And I got used to it. At first I was like really frustrated with it because it's really annoying to try to drop ammo. You have to hit down and then you have to scroll all the way up and then like select the ammo and then hit drop, which I guess is kind of like PUBG, but I don't know. It's just a little confusing at first, but the more I played, that became a little bit more fluid, so it stopped bothering me. So I think the inventory isn't that big of a deal. You just need to get used to it. So I think I was just exaggerating that a little bit.
I mean, I think playing solos I didn't really have that issue. I think in squads it would be a bigger issue.
Like trying to switch weapons or like ammo. I don't know.
Yeah, well, when you're looking at the ground and like if there's a whole team in an area and you kill them all, you'll have a little bit harder of a time. I had some. Like I didn't know I was picking up. Like there's like an armor plating, and I was like, do I need to like do anything with this? Like what am I doing here?
Yeah, well that's like the very basic stuff. The armor plating is it's kind of a weird system. So they just like
shove armor plates in their jacket.
Yeah, you're like shoving armor plates in your jacket. So I'm pretty sure you don't start with any armor, and if you find a piece of armor, you can like attach it right away. So you always have like one possible armor slot, and then you can find a vest that takes 2 armor slots. And then you can shove another armor in there. So
there's a vest.
Yeah, and there's one for 3 armor slots, but I haven't found that yet. That's like the level 3 armor, I guess, equivalent in like PUBG or another game.
You got three metal pieces then, though. So.
Yeah, and the issue is that they're the metal pieces like don't spawn that often, or like they're kind of not rare, but they're just hard to find. Like for example, it's not hard finding 2, but then after you get into initial gunfight, I had a really hard time finding more armor. So then you'd be like, kind of the issue Call of Duty had. So when Call of Duty first came out, people complained Blackout that like once you got into a fight, your armor would be destroyed, and then the next time you fought someone, you'd be like screwed, and people were having a really hard time finding armor, especially if you're like in the middle of a field. And that's what's happening in Battlefield right now. Like as soon as you get into a fight, like if you fight again, you're immediately dead, because if you don't have armor, you die like instantaneously. So the 2 biggest complaints I've seen about the game, or 3 biggest complaints, has been like armor, how it's like completely messed up that way, and the looting, and also the audio, which we'll get into in a little bit. But what's cool?
Mention that.
Yeah, but what's cool about the armor system though is that like unlike PUBG is that you can basically repair your armor. So if you do find a lot of armor plates, after you fight, you can basically just sit there, heal up, and also add armor back, and then you're like 100% again, which is pretty cool. So if they do fix that, it makes it kind of fun that you can like repair yourself in the middle of battle.
I agree. I don't know why people don't really complain about that for PUBG that much, actually, but
I think it's because you're right, because in the end game, but like the thing is now what they're doing is they're transferring. PUBG just changed it where like they're making the durability of the vest like last longer. So say for example, it used to be like most of the 100% of the damage went to the vest first and then to you, but now they're doing it where like if you take 50% damage or 50 damage, like only a fraction of that goes to the vest and it goes to you, so that it keeps your vest healthier. Now PUBG's making that change. So
that sounds like a decent idea. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, but there's like armor everywhere. Normally, as long as you can find like a shed, you can find like a level 1 armor. You know, it might not be level 2 or level 3, but like there's pretty much
pick it up off of other people too.
Yeah, so PUBG system, I've never really had a huge issue with that, but you do, like, if you do get into a lot of fights at the end game, you'll be no armor, no helmet or anything like that, and then you're kind of screwed. So that's like not super helpful.
Definitely, I think that it's important. I mean, a lot of if the game is dependent on having armor, then it's like a big.
Yeah, and the armor is so huge. Yeah, if I mean, because for example, in this game again, I don't know why all the games do this nowadays. It's kind of annoying to me, but you get used to it pretty fast. But they do 150 health. So like when I first played, I did like 99 damage to this guy, and then I hit him again. I'm like, dude, why didn't he die? You know, but it was like right off the bat. But I'm like, oh, people have 150 health.
Why 150?
Yeah, and then the armor is 50. So I think when you start off, you basically have 200 because it's pretty easy to start. I think you might even start off with one like armor plate. You just have to attach it. I forget. So you basically start off with like roughly 250 armor, 150 health, and then if you find the level 2 armor vest thing with 2, you have 100 armor. So that gives you what, 250 total armor health, and then I've yet to find a level 3 vest, but people have seen them, so I'm guessing that's another 50, and that would give you 300, which I think is like how Apex does it as well. I think or Call of Duty, I think they do the same system in terms of like health.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so the armor can like really provide you with a lot of cover, and if someone has that level 3, I've shot people with it. Like you hear a lot of the armor plating like tinking off them. It's like shooting someone with a one of those like bomb suits on. You're like, holy crap!
In Battlefield?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
No, it's rare. It's rare, but if you find someone that has level 3 armor, like they're taking. I mean, they have 300 health, so it's like they've doubled the normal health of somebody. So it takes a lot to take them down. Yeah.
That is a lot. That's too much almost.
Yeah, but that for the most part, that's okay. I think they'll definitely patch that at some point, or like fix the spawn rate of those. And I think that's all like one last negative thing. So sorry to keep being negative. I do really enjoy the game. So we'll talk about that in a sec, but I really do like playing it. But the last thing is audio. The audio is like, seems to be pretty messed up, and I've seen some reports from people. I hot dropped in a building and I could hear so many footsteps, and there was nobody in my building. The guy was like in a building across the street, and then a lot of people have been complaining that like they hear footsteps behind them but the person's in front of them, and vice versa. So I think the audio is a little off, but it's also hard to say because the game is so loud. There's so, like the snow and walking, everything. The fire is really loud, so I don't know if they're trying to make the game less about sound and like, you know, I don't know, but I think the audio is a little messed up at this point.
I agree, because I was like by that Pluto pit or whatever, and
the dig site, I think it's called
the dig site, in the snow, and I could have swore someone was on top of me. I was like, what is happening? I couldn't like determine where they're coming from. Like, are they next to me? You know what I mean? I was like looking around, I'm walking around, I'm like, what is happening? And finally I was like standing there, it's just like, all right, I'm just gonna move on.
Yeah, in all the hours I've played, I did not find one person. I did not locate one person's location due to sound. Like I would know like, oh, someone's in the area, but every time I found them is because I like visually identified them. Like when in PUBG and Call of Duty and all these games, like you hear someone like in your left headset, you're like, okay, they're to the left of me. You look left and you like see them. Really? And that didn't happen to me one time. I could never find somebody off their sound. I'm just like, I just knew they were like around me somewhere.
Yeah. So I was like, I went into a little shack. And I was like sitting in the corner trying to like play with the menus. I was like, all right, how do I drop stuff?
Yeah.
And like this guy walks, like I heard a guy coming.
Okay.
But I was like right near the door, so you open the door, and I like shot, and I was like, oh, the gun's semi-automatic, and the guy just turned around and just blasted me.
Yeah, that thing. It's weird that they made changing the single fire to auto a hold Y.
It's just stupid. That's a dumb button decision for. I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of agree because why switch weapon? So why make it hold Y? But
why? Yeah, why would it be hold? I mean, and why are
I think it's because they use all the D-pads for items, so they just need to come up with like a different button to do that. So I guess it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, PUBG does it with it. Yeah, I get it. I was just like, I would assume though that most of those guns are automatic though. Like the SGG-44 in the game is automatic.
I think it is. You might have just hit it by accident, like I told you, because I feel like most of them are.
Unless I hit Y too many times and if it switched firing rates, which is stupid in itself.
What confused me at first is that you hit Y to go to pistol and then Y to switch to your secondary. So then
wait, stop. Really? You hit Y to go to pistol?
Y is pistol. Y is switch to your secondary, so you have one, and then hold Y is
that's kind of
is fire rate. Weird. So it has like 3 functions, which is pretty interesting.
Why would you do that?
But I think it's a pretty smart usage because it's all around your guns. So I feel like it's kind of smart, but I don't know. I
don't know, dude. Because it seems like if you hit Y a little too long and you switch your firing rate, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I get it, but at the same, it's just getting used to it in reality. But I was just a shot, and I was just so annoyed. I was like, God damn it.
Yeah, it's just kind of annoying.
I had like a kill. I was like doing well. I was like, all right, let me just like figure out, because I like, couldn't pick anything up. I was like, all right, let me figure this out.
It definitely takes a while to get used to like the guns and how they shoot and what gun, you know, like you don't know exactly. Like you're like, oh, I think this gun looks familiar from like other Battlefield games, like but I couldn't really tell. Yeah, like I picked up a Sten. I'm like, I recognize that from Call of Duty.
Yeah, the STG-44.
Yeah, STG.
I might have thought that the menu, like when you hit the up arrow to bring up the guns, like your equipment, That may be better than Blackout to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree. I hated that when you had to like look at your equipment in Call of Duty. You'd have to scroll all the way left to grenades, all the way right to all the way left to health, all the way right to grenades. That was a pain in the ass, man. This was definitely better. And what's cool is what's good about, so let's talk about some positives of the game. What's cool about it is you can
Yeah.
reassign like your items. So if you want like your rocket launcher to be like left on the D-pad or like right on the D-pad, you can switch that yourself. So like whatever you really feel like using. And I know a lot of people have like preferred setups. Like if you're playing with a squad, one man might be like the rocket launcher guy, another guy might have like the
Yeah.
mines, and you can kind of like build a pretty cool setup like to how you want to play. And like I said, once I got used to the game, the inventory management was not so bad, and I didn't mind it that much. So I thought that was pretty good. I like that in the end.
Yeah, I didn't think it was bad. I just think like you were right when you brought that up. You're like, if there's mad loot,
Yeah,
you're in trouble.
yeah.
Which I did notice. I was like, wait, I gotta look at this, and I was like, oh, there's no way to look at the floor. But for me, I didn't have so many kills or anything like that where I
Yeah.
found that to be an issue. But I could definitely see it being an issue.
Yeah, and so like I said, the gunplay, we said the recoil, all that stuff felt really good. I liked the battles; it felt pretty good. Hit detection seemed good for me. Like I got into a lot of battles for the most part; it seemed all right. Didn't really have any major complaints. Um, what else? You said you didn't get in a vehicle. The vehicle stuff seems really balanced like right now because you actually have to have multiple people to operate a vehicle. Like you need one person to drive and then another person to operate the like turret. And then if there's like
Oh, really?
yeah, if there's like multiple turrets, then you need multiple people to operate the vehicle.
Yeah, you
So it
can't
seemed
do it on your own.
yeah, it seemed pretty balanced and like because of that and the terrain is
That
very
makes
like
sense,
up
though.
and
I
down.
mean,
Yeah, it's realistic. Yeah, it's pretty good. So like you can't really abuse it as a solo player. And then also there's like the really good vehicles are in bunkers, and to get them out, you need two people or one person needs to do it twice. There's like two wheels on the outside of the bunker, and you need to open the bunker up, and it's like a pretty long interaction. Like you have to hold X for I don't know, I'm gonna guess like a solid 20 seconds, and you need to do it two times. So if you have two people, like you can do it at the same time, and it does an alarm noise the whole time you're doing it. You're opening the garage doors, so people know if you're taking a tank out. So like we were doing it just for fun to like get the tank, and like two teams came at us, and we were like, oh shit, this is not a good idea, you know. So it's like pretty balanced. If you go for something like that, people are gonna know about it. And I thought they did a great job getting vehicles into the game. And also what's cool is if you're running around like a random town and there was like a classic kind of car, like 1940 style convertible car.
yeah,
And you can just get in it and drive. Like normally in PUBG, like not all the vehicles are drivable. It's just like the ones, like the UAZ, and the other ones are blown up
yeah,
and
the
stuff.
broken ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or even in Call of Duty Blackout, there's a bunch of like vehicles on the road that aren't real. They're just like props. But in this
Yeah,
game, like most of the vehicles I saw, like you could drive. So I'm like, that's pretty sweet.
that's cool. I didn't get to encounter. I didn't really encounter any vehicles, but I mean, the vehicles in Battlefield in general have always been like pretty well balanced in my
Yeah, and
opinion.
fun to use. Yeah, for sure. Always such a good highlight. You know what I didn't see? Someone said they mentioned the helicopter. I guess there's like a prototype helicopter in the
Yeah,
game,
there is a helicopter.
and I didn't get to see it. We heard it though, but I didn't see it flying around.
No, there is a helicopter.
Yeah,
I just didn't see it either. I kind of thought that was weird. I guess they wanted to make some flying vehicle, but
because Call of
it's
Duty
like a
did that. It
part.
seems like they really
Yeah,
were like competing with Call of Duty on this one.
yeah, they really tried too hard too. I feel like they didn't need to do that at all.
Yeah, but
I
I'm
think
trying to
there was
see.
plenty of vehicles and other stuff in there that really were fine.
I'm looking at a map right now that shows like possible vehicle spawns and stuff like that, and I don't see like where the helicopter spawns, but I'm sure
Mm.
eventually if we play a little bit more, I'll be able to find it. So
I think it. I don't know if that's a random one.
yeah, I wonder if it's set somewhere to like a particular town or something like that.
It may be, but I also think it's possible that it just randomly spawns. But I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I did like the gun play too, though, in that. So I thought like the guns fired so realistic, which was true to the rest of the game. They didn't really make anything. I mean, I also noticed that when I played, the campaign, or not campaign, but the multiplayer.
Hmm.
So I think it was pretty um consistent with that. Like sometimes I feel like the game can stray a bit, but
Yeah.
it was good.
Mm. That's good. I still haven't played multiplayer or anything like that yet.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
like a fun multiplayer, but it's the same as Battlefield 1 in my opinion. So you're kind of like if you're burnt on Battlefield 1, you're going to be burnt on Battlefield 5.
Yeah, interesting. But
You know.
they had changed the healing system though, right? Like reviving people. Like I feel like when you got like killed in multiplayer, you could get revived in a different way or
Mm.
something like that. You're like almost knocked, right, or something.
Yeah. So I mean, you always were knocked and you could get
You were right,
revived.
but they said they changed it some in some shape or form in this
I
one. I feel
think
like.
if you're a medic, you revive faster or something like that. I don't know. I can't
Yeah,
remember anymore. I haven't played the actual game multiplayer in a while.
yeah, it's all good. I just know they had like revamped that a little bit. And some people were
Yeah,
talking
they
about
definitely
that in the
changed it,
chat.
but I can't remember what they
Oh,
did.
speaking of that, did you? You probably didn't see this because you were playing solo. If you're in squads and you knock somebody in Battlefield,
Oh
if they
yeah,
have a pistol, they can shoot you still.
yeah. They like get knocked like in it's like Last Stand.
Yeah, like Last Stand. And then what's funny is if you don't have a pistol and you have like an axe, you're like just sitting there holding the axe, like trying to hit somebody. And I actually killed somebody in that position, so it was pretty cool.
That's so funny. It's like so frustrating if you're the guy that just shot somebody and they just pistol you.
Yeah, but then it was funny because then he went into Last Stand and we were literally laying at each other, like holding our pistols at each other. It was like so stupid looking. But
Just shooting each other and it's just not doing anything.
yeah, it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But the guy was like really weak and he killed me, so all I needed to do was like hit him one time and I was right next to him. So then it wasn't that like hard to hit him at that point. So I just went for it.
Go YOLO.
YOLO. And I wanted to ask you, did you notice? I don't because I didn't even notice at first. It took me like 2 hours of playing to realize that there aren't scopes in the game and that the weapons are picked up by variants. So there's like it's almost Fortnite style where you pick up like a regular weapon,
Yeah.
then there's like purple weapons. I don't know how many like tiered
There's
variants
three.
there are. I think there's three. I think there's like purple and like I think gold maybe. I know there's purple. I
Yeah.
don't know what the third tier
It has
is.
like the markings, like the private marking, the three stripes kind of
Oh,
thing.
okay, okay. Yeah, I probably should have known
Like
that
the
for the
highest tier.
yeah. But yeah, so I guess you noticed that, and
Yeah.
at first I was like, I don't know how I feel about that, but I think it's pretty cool. I like that. I don't mind that for Battlefield. I feel like that's fine. When you make your creative class in Battlefield multiplayer, there was never a way to like choose your scopes, right? It was always kind of set to the gun. So I feel like that works for this game. What do you think about that?
I don't, I think like the bottom line is like this isn't going to be a competitive game. And like this seems like it's off topic, but it's not a competitive game. So I think like first off, having the different ranked weapons is fine. I think that would matter in competitive gaming because it's just hard to follow.
Because you
And I
don't you
think
know what gun
having,
they're gonna get and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, like you don't know what gun you're up against and everything. And it's just like hard to say like, oh, I got knocked by an SGG 44. You don't know. Um, but I also I think that's more of a competitive thing, and I just don't see this game being a competitive game at all. And also for the other aspect that you were mentioning, gosh, the SG44 and the fixed scopes,
Yeah.
I think it's okay. I mean, I don't have issues with the gun with no sights. Like the Gruer and my two guns had no sights. It's not like they do a good job where the gun doesn't obstruct too much of your view when you're looking
Yeah.
down sights, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. 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 I didn't have a major issue with it. Obviously, I got pretty happy when you found a gun with like a nice scope on it, and I found a really rare sniper with a
Yeah.
huge scope on it, so I was able to like get some nice snipes on people,
Yeah.
which felt cool. And yeah, I didn't have a huge problem with it. I just wanted to see if you had any like major thoughts on
No,
it.
I didn't hate it. I mean, I think it makes things a little bit simpler in terms of looting and attaching weapons, stuff like that. Like
Yeah, I
I
think you bring
get
up a
it.
good point.
Sometimes
Like
simpler is
it's
better.
yeah, sometimes simple is better, and just have it like that. I kind of
Yeah,
agree with
like
that.
if it's just more for fun, I get it. I think that if it was they're trying to go for competitive, it might make a difference with the fixed scopes and all that stuff and
Yeah.
the weapon ranking kind of thing. But
Yeah,
for
and
this
eventually,
purpose, it's fine.
yeah, and eventually, I was gonna say like if you get really into the game, like you'll learn more about like what variants are like the best and what guns do the most damage and stuff like that. Like we're still 3 days into the game being out, so if we play it a little bit more, like people will figure all that. I'm sure people have already figured out like this gun's better than this gun, et cetera, et cetera. And
Yeah,
that always happens. But
I agree. I
yeah,
think it's always going to be. They're always gonna have a weapon balancing issue. I just think it overly complicates it when it starts to be, different ranks of the weapons. Because then you're like, okay, not only do we need to change this weapon, we need to change the ranks and balance those. I think it just becomes a bigger equation.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And yeah, we'll see what they do with that. I mean, because I guess when if they need to if they add a new gun and then they'll add like a couple variants of it, I guess going forward, like the default variant and then like one with a scope or I don't know, one with like an extended mag or something. I'm not sure what they'll do with that.
I guess it does simplify looting a lot though. Like you get less stuff on the floor.
Yeah, there are a ton of items, man, and maybe I should have brought this up earlier because it's kind of exciting. And but I don't know if you got to see any of the items, but there's like the regular items. There's like the grenades. There's tank mines. There's regular. There's like different kinds of mines. I saw so many different kind of grenades. I saw rocket launchers. I had a rocket. I had a grenade launcher like that went into like a rifle that you shot out, incendiary grenades, smoke grenades. There was a lot of stuff to keep track of, and then it kept filling up my inventory really fast, and like I couldn't even assign like them to a controller button. So I got a little overwhelmed by that, but again, the more you play, the more you figure out like, okay, I want this item over that item. Did you see any of that stuff in the game or play with it at all, or not really?
No, not really. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see. I saw some items, but like I noticed there was a lot of anti-tank stuff. I did find like the tank rounds, like the vehicle tank rounds.
Oh yeah.
I was like, wait, you need to pick these up.
That was weird too. Yeah,
coming?
I haven't shot a tank round yet. Like the only time I was in a vehicle, I was on the gunner. I wasn't in like one with the tank round, but I thought that was weird too that they like weren't in the tank. But I guess that makes it pretty fair as well that like you can get into a tank and like not even have that much ammo or zero maybe. So but that also makes it kind of hard to use. But again, I think for a squad, like what you would do is you'd be looting and you'd be like, oh dude, awesome, I have 10 tank rounds, let's find a tank. And then as a squad you like go, you open the tank vault out, you have two people watching, two people getting the tank, you get in, and then like it gets pretty strategic. So I feel like it could really get, again, Battlefield's a really squad based game, so I feel like it could really take it to the next level when you're in like a full squad and be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think that's like, more of my point where I was like, I think it'd be cool if they did big squads or something like that, and but
Yeah.
even teams of 8, like do something more Battlefield. Do your own thing. Don't need to be a follower in this case. And I feel like they just didn't go original on it. They kind of like, oh, we'll just follow the norm, follow the same blueprint. They could have done singles, quads, and then even 8s would be cool. I think it would just be different. A different take on it, and that's kind of
instead of duos. Yeah, why even do duos? Why just do do 1 4 8?
Yeah, stick with like what you're known for. You know what I mean? Like make it your own. Don't just follow a schema because it's a scheme or schema. You know what I mean? Like do something different, and it just didn't do it. Then they go above and beyond.
Exactly. That's exactly the right thing, dude. It's a great game, so much fun, but they did not go above and beyond at all. That's a great way to put it.
Like, they just made something because like it's popular, in my opinion. It's just like it's great, it's fun, but it's just another game type to me that will probably get boring. Like I'd rather play Conquest because I feel like that's like there's so much action in Conquest. There's a lot of people running around. There's like it's like
planes flying around.
Yeah, it's like a camaraderie type of thing, and you playing Battlefield, Firestorm, you're like, oh, this is just like slower. You know what I mean? It's just not the same to me.
Yeah. No,
it's not a Battlefield type of thing. They're just doing it to like fit.
Yeah, but it definitely is. I mean, Battlefield is a great game for Battle Royale because of how big it is and all the stuff in it. So it definitely works in a way. But I know I 100% agree with what you're saying. So I think that was well said, man. That's exactly what's going on.
Thank you.
And what time? Yeah, man. But they're definitely right. But again, I don't want to make it sound like we're crapping on the game because we haven't played too much yet, and it really is fun. But just being honest about like the future of it, like if they really wanted to be like a heavy hitting like game, like the next level of gaming, they're just not doing it. But I guess that's kind of typical for like EA games. It feels like it's kind of like where they live in right now.
Yeah, I don't know what their point was of doing this. I mean, I knew that the game it came out late. They probably didn't get as many purchases as they wanted.
They're definitely crushing sales now with it being 30% off. So many people are like buying it. It's pretty smart.
Yeah, I mean, they're making money off of it, but it's not like they're expected, EA as a whole isn't doing well right now. So they kind of used Apex as like a really big crutch and like saying, hey,
Apex like saved them, dude. That's like such a big game.
Yeah, it did, but they also like used like for their company, like when they're reporting, they're like, oh, like, hey, ignore our really shitty revenue, but look how big this thing is. Like, so I think that Apex definitely saved them, and they have this. I think it just didn't do as well, so they were like, they got it out, and I think their expectation is like, yeah, we'll buy it, and we'll get people to pay for $30 for the game that we couldn't sell. You know what I mean? It was like, we'll get something, which
Wow.
is
Yeah.
fine.
Interesting. That's kind of true. Yeah.
Which is fine, dude. I mean, that's a good plan. Like, they probably delayed it. Like, they delayed the game in general, and they were like, well, let's hold off on Firestorm for a couple months, so that way we're, once this game is, we see the huge decline in sales, which was pretty low to begin with, we just throw it out there for 50% off. Like, oh, look, we made a battle royale for $30, and you get the whole game for $30. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah,
business.
not a bad strategy. Yeah, pretty good business strategy for the most part. I mean, they got me to buy it, but honestly, I probably wouldn't have bought it if it wasn't for me streaming and doing the podcast and stuff like that. I feel like just for us,
I was
fun.
gonna say I should have game shared it with you, but too late.
Yeah,
Obviously.
yeah, it's all good. That would have been maybe a good idea, but
I don't have it downloaded. I think that's the only problem.
Oh,
I have the disc. I bought the disc for like
well,
an idiot.
you have to download every game, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, but I mean, I think you need if you have a disc, you can't game share it. Can you?
You're right. You might have to be a digital download. I think you're right.
Yeah, I think I bought the disc in case I wanted to like sell it back real quick or return it or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Get like 2% back or whatever.
Yeah. But on the flip side, man, I just want to say on a positive note, on the flip side though, like if April comes and they say like, we're going to do this, and this to the game and blah, 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 blah. And we're not coming out with another battle royale. This is it. And this and that. Like I could see this like almost being more enjoyable than like, I can't believe I'm gonna say this, like almost more enjoyable in the long run than like Call of Duty. Like I could see this really doing well and being like a great competitor in the battle royale scene if they say like if they back it 110%. But I just think that like they're probably not gonna do that, and then
no, probably not.
Yeah, and then it's gonna go down.
They're gonna make next year. They'll make the new Star Wars Battlefront, and that'll have a battle royale.
Dude, true. Good.
It would be the Star Wars overlay of Battlefield 5.
Wow,
and they'll release Battlefront fucking Firestorm.
Wow, dude, hottest take ever. I'm about to title this video Battlefront Battle Royale. I mean, Star Wars Battle Royale.
Are we misleading? What would they call it?
Like the most clickbaity title of all time.
Battlefront.
Battle Royale confirmed.
Hoth Royale. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like there's a good chance that they'll just do that because they do. We all know they do a Battlefield and then they do
the Battlefront
Battlefront, and it's just the same game but with the Star Wars theme. Like they literally must copy and paste on top of like the same thing. Like they're just like, okay, like flip the switch and the characters change from like soldiers to stormtroopers. And...
Yeah. And speaking of that, this is random, and I want to talk about some more Battlefield stuff in a sec. But like I saw on Reddit today that like the new Star Wars movie, which is going to come out this year, right? They planned those games with the release of the main movie, which comes out every 2 years, right?
Yeah.
That's the release schedule. And then, so this year is the year of the movie coming out. So that game definitely is coming out. And they leaked like a poster for it. And I don't know why, but it said like spoiler, but it was just a poster for the new movie. But I guess it got leaked online.
They haven't even released the preview yet.
Yeah, so there was a poster leaked, but then like it's getting taken down everywhere, so it's being posted like all over Reddit. I don't know.
I was surprised they haven't even released a trailer. I think we're going on Star Wars rant right now. The last one for Last Jedi, they released it on Super Bowl, so I mean a little behind here. I think they released something. We'll find out.
They'll probably release it soon, in the next couple months.
I like the anticipation.
Yeah, I enjoyed those movies.
I love it.
Yeah, getting back to Battlefield, we were talking about the items. I don't think you would have definitely known if you saw this. This is one of the coolest things. I guess we'll save this for kind of last here. There's some crazy items, and I didn't know that in multiplayer. Somebody was telling me, shout out to Dalton Kelly, DK, that like there's some kind of squad kill streaks that you can earn. Actually, if your team gets enough points, you can get like a V1 rocket, and they put that into
I saw that.
They put that into the battle royale, so you can pick up. There's different flare guns and stuff, and one of the flare guns drops like I think an air supply. Don't quote me on that. There are like areas around the map where you can go to them and you can capture a point and like an airdrop or an air supply like drops by you, which is pretty cool. And there's multiple flare guns. I know that for a fact. One of them actually works like a real flare gun, like in Battlefield 1, where you shoot the flare gun and it shows you any enemies in the area. And I thought that was really cool because there's not many times where you get to use your radar to see where or the map to see where enemies are. You know, in Battle Royale there is no UAV or anything like that. People don't pop up on the radar ever. So that was pretty cool because I was in the Pluto dig pit and someone was shooting me from really high up after I killed somebody and I didn't know where, and I shot a flare up and he marked up like right away. So I thought that was really cool. And then after that, cool. Dalton found a flare gun with the V1 rocket, dude, and it was so dope. We pulled up in this town. He was like so stoked. He's like, dude, I'm going to launch this thing. So we get into the town. We notice there's a team in the back of the town. We get into like a little firefight. I knocked like one of them, and he shot the flare into the town. He's like, dude, back up. This is going to be huge. I literally backed up to the last building in the town. The V1 rocket came and wiped out every single building in the town. And he like collateraled the whole team, and my whole building got destroyed. My health went all the way down to like 1/3. And I was like 100 meters from the blast. And it was crazy, dude. It blew up everything. It was awesome.
That is cool. Because that's actually in the multiplayer. So like your squad can build up points, and your points like accumulate to like 100,000. You can buy things for the team. So you can buy like a tank.
Dude, it's so dope. It's such a good idea.
Rocket, It's so loud too. It's just like, it's a weird noise. You're like, what?
Yeah. He actually got another one too, but I don't think he got a kill on that one. But it was, that's the game we ended up winning. Actually, he got 2 V1 rockets in one game. We ended up winning that match. The sole game we won.
That's rude.
And everyone had 3 or 4 kills in the squad, and we were playing with 2 randoms, so it was a fun match. So shout out to him again for that. And I thought that to me was like their most creative spin on the game, that they actually put stuff like that in the game. And it's like really cool items. So I gave them a lot of credit for that. And to me, like if they keep stepping that up and doing more stuff, like it could be really, really fun. And I don't know what they're going to do in the future. Like, this is so early on, but are they going to like update the map? Are they going to make a new map? Are they going to be like, who really knows with this stuff? Are they just going to forget about this game, take their $30 and run?
Yeah, and I kind of like wonder that still about Blackout.
Yeah,
I don't think we've gotten anything really official from Call of Duty saying, hey, like, what are we doing here with this Battle Royale?
Dude, I feel like Blackout faded fast, man. Like, faster than I thought, dude, really. Because I feel like people realize, like, where's this game going? Like,
yeah, it's really not. I just, I think it's doing better than PUBG is right now, honestly, in our Twitch thing, right? So.
Oh, yeah. So hold on. Let's check that in one sec. But I just wanted to tell you this thing. So I saw a tweet from a couple hours ago from Dr. Disrespect, and he said, which Battle Royale is the most entertaining to watch in your opinion? And unfortunately, he didn't include PUBG here, which bummed me out. But he put Battlefield, Fortnite, Apex Legends, and Blackout. And the percentage right here is Apex won with 54% of the votes, so that just shows you like most people who follow Dr. Disrespect are voting Apex, so that's kind of crazy though. Obviously this isn't like a big market study, but then again 52,000 people voted, so that's a pretty good study. So 54% said Apex Legends right now. Fortnite is in second with 22% of the votes. Call of Duty Blackout is in third with 13% of the votes. Firestorm is last, but for Call of Duty to be all the way down behind that far away from Apex Legends, to me is kind of interesting. I think it kind of shows that people have moved on from that game. And to go on we do this every week on the podcast. If you guys have been listening, we check what are the top 10, 20 games. Where's PUBG at on the Twitch browse list? So if you have it up, let us know what's going on with this.
So I'm counting now. So Fortnite up first, 163.
Hold on, say that again. You cut out for a second on my end.
Fortnite is 163,000 viewers.
In first.
Yeah. Then Grand Theft Auto is number 5. Number 2.
Wow. Yeah, I heard. Again, this is obviously based off who's streaming at the moment, but I think
Summit is streaming it, and he has 53,000 viewers. So
wow. Okay.
That changes. Then it's Apex in third, League of Legends, then Just Chatting. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice with 58,000. That game looks pretty cool, and I think it's an Xbox exclusive, is it not?
I don't know.
Whatever. Someone's gonna be like, yeah, whatever. So Counter-Strike Global Offensive,
Wow.
Overwatch with 21,000, Old School RuneScape 20,000, then Dota 20,000, Rainbow Six Siege with 16,000, World of Warcraft 16,000. We'll skip the Hearthstone, Tom Clancy's The Division 2, Auto Chest is in after them.
Wow.
So then you have Path of Exile, and then you have Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
Damn, and I didn't hear PUBG yet at all. Are we even in the top like 30?
No. So it's still going. You got Super Smash Brothers, Art, whatever that is, Dead by Daylight, Music Performing Arts, Talk Show Podcast, FIFA, Dealers, Mortal Kombat, Legend of Zelda Outward, Battlefield 5 with 5,800 viewers right now. Then you have Poker, Captain Commando, Minecraft.
Oh, I think
Show.
PUBG's offline right now. That's why on PC. The hold on, I just got a tweet here. Yeah.
4,000 viewers.
That's why. So PUBG live server maintenance has begun. So the live server is closed for the next 7 hours, starting a half hour ago. So
wow.
Maybe that's why.
Oh yeah, it's only at 4,000 viewers. I was like,
it's only console. Yeah. Okay, that's why.
Oh well, no one plays console except for us. So. Oh, ASMR is only 3 spots behind PUBG. Wow. So in case you want to get your ASMR in here, wow. 3,000 viewers for ASMR. Really, go F yourself. Stupid.
That's crazy, man.
It almost is frustrating. That's a thing on Twitch.
Wow. I've listened to some of those videos as a joke. It's kind of funny, man.
Whatever.
It makes me laugh.
You're a joke.
And
Anthem only has 1,000 viewers. They really effed that game up, I think.
Oh my god, I forgot that game existed.
They really effed it up, EA. To be honest with you, there's like a lot of flack for that. We won't even get into that one. I just feel bad because it looked like it had so much potential, and they like dialed back the graphics, dialed back a whole bunch of stuff, and it's just they just effed it up. Sad.
Wow.
Hashtag sad.
I mean, I'm not gonna say, dude. I never spent a moment of my time even paying attention to that game, dude.
I know. I just felt like to get it for PC,
I honestly felt like
no one's gonna get it.
I know it's the easy choice to be like a naysayer. It's always easier to not have faith than to believe. But like, I didn't believe in that game for a minute, dude. They were tricking me.
I
with that
did.
Shit.
I thought it was gonna. I thought it had a lot of potential. I thought that game could be really cool.
Yeah, 5 years ago, dude. 5 years ago when Destiny came out. I honestly feel like it's the wrong era, dude. That's like wrong era.
Not everything can be a battle royale. First off,
no, you're right. But like
I just think that EA is just not a company to lead like that. Like if it was like Blizzard, it probably would have. It was massive. The guys that made Mass Effect. I just think that they did a terrible job marketing it. I don't know. They did a terrible job marketing it, and then Apex came out like a week before they came out.
Not smart.
And it just had a lot of potential, and I think they just didn't do a good job marketing it. I'm going to say that.
Yeah, and bad release time. They should have just postponed it to this summer or something.
Yeah, I think it can't all be battle royales, and I think that it's a good game. I just don't think they. I don't know what they did, man. They did a lot of things wrong with that game. I think it just had a lot of potential to be a fun, open world, type of game, but they fucked it up.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
Classic EA. They probably charge you an arm and a leg every time you do.
Dude, I just can't believe that. Yeah, and like I said, I really didn't pay too much attention to it. I was just avoiding it for the most part.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't be sad.
No, it's okay. I'm not really into those games anymore.
I'm not into them either. But I wanted to have something different to play on.
Yeah, I agree.
PC.
I mean, eventually we're gonna get a little tired of Battle Royale, but right now I'm still having fun with it. But obviously we miss some other game modes from time to time, but I'm still digging Battle Royale a lot right now. And I think for me, I'm riding the wave because I really enjoy it, and I think it's like one of the best genres to stream, so it's been working out pretty well.
Yeah.
So I dig it. Going back to your Twitch thing, it's nuts, man. I think we said this last time, but it's just insane that League of Legends is still like always in the top 5 no matter what, and also that CS:GO is like always in the top 10. Isn't that just insane? Those games, it really shows you like the impact.
It's insane. Like, CS:GO's been going around for fucking 20 years.
Those games will go down in history as like seriously. I mean, League of Legends changed the course of like video game history forever, and how like serious they took it. CS:GO same way, like just such a big impact. World of Warcraft, like those games will go down in history as like some of the biggest games
ever. 100%. Yeah, they're never going away. I think that like they need to make like a fully updated CS.
Yeah, they could probably use one.
I mean, they overhauled the game. They updated a lot, but I think
Ooh, just dropped something.
Whatever. I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
hate
but
on it. It's such a great game.
Yeah.
I just haven't played it in years.
Yeah, man. And what was I going to say? Oh, and talking about PUBG while there's no viewers. So just before we end the podcast here, because we just hit, I think we're like just a little under an hour right now. So mostly this episode is about Firestorm, obviously. And then I guess next week we'll return with talk about like the Survivor Pass Vikendi for PUBG will be ending next Tuesday. Actually, it will be over.
Wow.
So we can talk about that. But for now, like it's offline. The live servers are offline. So this is update number 27 coming to PC, and then again, obviously this will trickle down to console. So we talked about this in the last podcast. If you guys want more information about this update, you can go there. I think we did. This is the MP5K, the new Survivor Pass number 3, which is going to be called Wildcard, and more 2-year anniversary gift that they're giving everybody, just like a hat in the game. New survival rewards. Title system thing that they got going on, some gameplay changes to the vector, the the M16. Yeah, we went over all this stuff in the last podcast. So if you want like a detailed information, we pretty much went through the whole patch notes here in the podcast, which is pretty fun. And so this is a pretty big update to the game. And then yeah, I guess I'll save all the other PUBG stuff for next week's episode. But just if you guys are listening and you guys are also fans of PUBG, just be aware that the battle pass is ending soon. So make sure you guys get in there, get as high as you can with the level. You can go past 100, but the pass ends technically at 100. I just hit 100 yesterday. Right now I'm at 103, so I'm officially done. I'm gonna keep trying to level up, but I'm like fine in terms of getting all the rewards. And then that officially ends on the 2nd, and then you have a 1-week grace period to collect any rewards or use your points to buy stuff in the game with this pass. So
nice.
There we are. That's about it.
I mean, we went over a lot. We hit an hour, pretty much all on Battlefield 5.
Yeah, which is good. I think that's good because there's some people who might just pop in for this podcast listening to Battlefield.
It needed to be done. We have to go through every battle royale except for Realm Royale.
Yeah.
I have not played that yet.
Oh no, me neither. I have not played that. And what else? I think there's probably some other weird battle royales out there as well.
I never got to play Ring of Elysium. I didn't get to play that.
Oh, I did play the Ring of Elysium.
You played it?
Yeah, a couple times on PC. Yeah, I did. Forgot about that. Again, not a big PC player, but it was fun trying it out. They had that really cool thing when you lay down, you could lay down on your back and like shoot in between your legs, which I thought was really cool. And like in PUBG, the only way you can lay down is on your stomach, and I thought that system was really, really cool. Just a random detail, but it's just one thing I always remember from Ring of Elysium was that you could do that. So it kind of changed like how you could maneuver around when you were laying down, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was definitely a different game. I should have played it, but it looks like I can't even find doing anything with it. It probably has like no users.
Yeah, who really knows? And
I get Tencent, so.
Oh yes, it's right. I forgot Tencent worked on that. And before we end this, I wanted to just say 2 things to you that I thought was kind of funny. So, just a kind of a stream recap for the week. So yesterday when I was streaming PUBG, it was crazy. I started off the game with 3 straight solo chicken dinners. It was absolutely insane.
Yeah,
it's definitely a record for me. I've never had 3 straight wins, and to do it in solo, like the odds of winning 3 times in a row in solo are so low. I mean, you have like what? A 1 in 99% chance of winning, or 1 in 99 chance of winning, and then times 3. Chance. So yeah, you have like a 1% chance of winning, and so to do it 3 times in a row, it's just absolutely insane. That was a crazy way to start the stream. So I just wanted to like shout out everyone who was watching. We had like a great time. It was fun, and that memory was hilarious. And then today, since I hit 100 yesterday, I had the horse head. And the first game I was like, dude, we're going to do the horse head challenge today. I'm going to try to get a win with no helmet and the horse head. And literally the first game of the day, first attempt, I did it. And it was like the craziest game of all time. Like I shouldn't have been alive. I escaped death like so many times. And I ended up killing this guy at the end. And it was just like nuts. I stood right over him with the horse mask. And it was like just hilarious.
That's awesome. Yeah, did you get the horse mask?
You get it at like level 98 or 99 in Survivor Pass.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's why you gotta hit 100, bro. I'm just kidding.
Whatever. I'm like level 30. I don't give a shit.
No. It's a silly thing. Who cares? But as soon as you take a helmet, put on a helmet, it goes away. But like, I wanted to get a win with the mask on, so I'm gonna post that video.
They should make it so you could wear the helmet on top of the head or something.
Yeah, or that.
Or
Yeah,
just like don't even. Yeah, I don't know. It's.
it kind of stinks. But it is what it is. Just
Whatever.
Detail. But had a lot of fun streaming this week, and the stream will continue on. So I guess we'll end it here. With anything else to say? Actually, anything else you want to add?
No, I gotta keep reminding myself to book my hotel for E3. So if anyone's out in California and wants to hang out with me at some point between June 10th and June 13th, I'll be there.
Might get a request. Maybe Spooky will come. You can meet up with Spooky and get.
If he's close to LA, I'll say hello.
Yeah, I think he lives in LA, dude.
Oh shit, bro.
Spooky.
We can get some coffee. Poke each other.
Ooh, yeah. Sounds good, man. Could go for a cup of coffee.
Always. Yeah, but that's it. That's all I gotta do. I gotta just remember to do that. I'm saying it live, so that way people not live, but I'll hear it tomorrow when I listen to this.
Yeah, remind yourself at work. Yeah, good
idea. Yeah, I'll probably exactly. It's a future message.
Perfect. All right, well, I guess I'll say it this time. Thank you guys for making it to the final circle with us. Hardy har. And we appreciate you guys listening. Again, this is episode number 17. Today, as we're recording this, is just the date at the end, March 27th, 2019. I'll be posting this tomorrow on the 28th. And enjoy the rest of your day, guys, if you're listening to this, or good night wherever you are on the planet Earth. Thanks again for watching, and later, everybody. Peace.
Thanks. Later.